which they have been a little bit out the norm for me, I must admit, but mainly in gold and just coming out, you know, at the sort of 20 pips each time. As you know, you caught a couple of them. I did buy back in here, and I come out up here, and I bought back in on this this pullback here, and came out at the 20. So today I've actually captured about 80 pips in total from sort of several small trades. So it's been a profitable day, although nowhere near as profitable as it would have been if I just left the original short in, which, you know, I had my limits at 15.02 and it took me out 15.02. I could have left that where it was and just let it run all day, but hindsight is a wonderful thing. We're not gonna dwell on that. Profit is profit, and we're up nicely for the day, which is the main thing. You may notice something new, which is this RSI indicator, which I've been toying with, because I was speaking to a guy that I discussed training with, and he's quite a knowledgeable guy, and he's built these sort of indicators and different things. And I said I've just never had any interest in it, and he said because most of the time the settings are just rubbish. He said, but you've got to sort of really look at it at what you like to trade the most to see how it works. Now, when I was looking at this buy, we had the support, which is this same support line we've had in here for, in fact, let's move it out onto the 1 hour so we've got a better picture, that we've had in place here for ages. You know, we've got the rejection there, rejected from there, and literally hit bang on, is seen to be rejecting from there, but we'll see how, you know, the hours sort of close out, etc., may get another touchdown there. But what I did notice is that when it's come below these sort of extreme levels, it has started to show sort of signs of a bounce. And the same when you look from above, and same from below here. You know, I think the same as anything, all these things are great, but you have to know when to take profits. And this is why today I've stuck to sort of scalping my sort of usual 10 to 20 pip. Just take it when I see it, and not risk it kind of turning around. Which is why I kept coming out on the 5-minute 20, and that sort of worked quite well, knowing that we're in a sort of bit of a bearish trend. Do expect to see some kind of pullback, but yeah, I just thought I'd explain that just in case you're wondering. You know, that is something new, and something I'm just trying to tap into to see how it does, and if it does help with any trading. Just as a separate kind of indication. Excuse me. Been a long day as always. So have you guys have you done any other trades today? Anything you guys have been looking at or executed? Did you guys all capitalise Friday again on the gold move? Well, that's the last 2 Fridays we've done 100 pips in gold. It's been it's been good to us on Fridays. Okay, so talk us through that. Let's analyse it. Yeah, I mean, I was too. In fact, yeah, apart from the first trade that I did in gold, which was a short, the rest of them all been buys. So, in fact, let me just share with you exactly where entries and exits and stuff were. So, the first one was the short, which was that's not the entry price. Where is it? Well, it was open around 15.04 and closed out at 15.02. Then all the others have been buys. So I've literally been buying when it's been extended, and then let's get it up so we can see this at the same time. Buy when it's extended and taking it up to the next kind of resistance area, which has been the 5-minute 20 each time. As I sort of said to you guys when I was sort of looking at these trades, and it has just sort of been playing to suit a bit. But what I'd done, so when I bought earlier was here, again, if I look at the 5 minute, this at the same, much as I have been ignoring this indicator a bit, I've just been looking and trading the sort of where I've seen things, e.g. this was the trend line before, and then obviously this support area that's sort of projected several times, and coincidentally that this has been a sort of extreme low, and so yeah, I think there could be some moves in it. I'm going to keep an eye on it anyway. But as I say, yeah, all of those trades have been actually buys, but just taking out small profit. This is what I say. It's all about the exit as much as it is the entry. But yeah, I really did think we was going to get to that daily 20 or 50 and sort of bounce back up. But again, we just smashed down. So you know what that tells me? It tells me this means absolutely nothing. This is you know, I thought there was some kind of meaningful pattern there, but frankly, it means nothing. It really is a case of we are in this box range. We are between 1514 and 1480. We are in a range, and unless we get a break to the upside or to the downside, you know, all we can do is just keep trading in the middle and scalping. And you know, I wouldn't want to be taking a buy here and leaving it, and you know, not sure where it's going to go, and I wouldn't want to be taking a short up here. You know, it would be if I'm not scalping and just looking for the small moves in the middle, then you know, you'd want to see a break. Completely risk aversely trading, you want to see a break either way. So we'll have to see how this, you know, does play out for the next day or two. I mean, this week, but I am bullish. Yeah, I mean, I would buy again. I mean, I've exited and stuff now just so I don't end up with charges and taking a nice bit of profit. But I mean, yeah, if we do get a touch back down here, I'm happy to take the risk and do a little buy. I do think because this is the first time we've actually hovered around the resistance before we're tracing, I do think we're going to start to get an upside, and we need one. It's going to pull back. I can tell you right now, there is no way that gold is just going to keep on falling without pulling back. Same as anything. You know, there might be further to go. It might come down to, you know, this 78, 76 area and then pull back, but it is going to pull back at some point. And this is where you don't want to be guessing it. You want to wait for an indication, which we can do from the 1 hour. You know, we get a really bullish 1 hour candle, then that could be a signal that's going to come to the upside a bit. Yes, I would like to see the fibs and the 20. So the 1 hour 20, as we know, always gets well reacted, and you know, that I don't think at the moment that's going to line up with any fibs. However, let's see where the fibs are and at what point it might. So this was the point before it turned around. So yeah, we know that gold likes to head back to around the 50% mark. So I expect maybe there's a bit more hovering around, and probably 94 might be a good target from here, which is, you know, 100 pips. Nothing wrong with that. But yeah, at the same time, you know, let's get some confirmation it's turning around. Because I started to think that after like the last hour's candle, we're going to see that move to the upside a bit. 1 hour, if we're looking at this, it seems to be oversold. And the 4 hours the same. I know just from looking at it. You know, it's had some big moves down. But yeah, we could see some sort of hovering. There's a kind of phase line that moves up and then a sink down further. So as I say, just play careful. So I've got it on 8, so 8 closed candles, and then 80 and 20, because I've been playing with this yesterday and today, and I feel this sort of 80 and 20 is giving me good readings. You could play, you know, you could have it 100 and 40 or 70 and 30. I think is standard. But I'd rather it be at sort of extremes as much as possible, so that it's got the best chance of, you know, giving a good indication. But yeah, I mean, like it's like you see all these turnarounds. It wasn't in an extreme zone. At the moment, we're in an extreme zone. So technically speaking, if I'm an RSI indicator trader, this should be moving to the upside. Which if we do get, I've taken enough out of the market today that if we do get a nice push up and retest, I'm happy to try and take that long. And I think that, as I say, this is the first time it's been hovering around the EMA, not just sinking like we've seen earlier in the day. So it could be due a bit of a break to the upside, and that's what we would like to see. I mean, as I say, it is going to have a pullback. There is no question of a doubt about that. It's just a matter of when and looking for that sort of strong bullish signal. I mean, maybe if we go down to 30 minutes rather than 1 hour, but you go to these times, it doesn't look bullish. It doesn't look like we've got a turnaround coming. I think we'll probably come back down to this area, and we'll see if we do. I think this 4-hour candle could potentially come to these lows, and then turn around. I think that might be what happens. I mean, yeah, typically, when it's this bearish, you've got to see a kind of turnaround. But as I said, I would like to see upside. I mean, typically, end of the year, come December, January, gold has a good months. Then it tends to be bullish. There tends to be a lot of gold being bought, etc. And dollar, I mean, indices have just gone nuts. So they're going to need a pullback. So in which case, in turn, gold will move to upside. I did nearly have a buy on the DAX. If I break it down to the 5 minute, I can show you where we have the 200 sort of being rejected here and retest. It's only going to give a quick sort of 20 pips, but it had a deeper pullback earlier on and then gave a nice sort of reversal candle and pulled back up. But same time I've been in gold, and as you know, it's my favourite. I do tend to favour it and sort of stalk gold more than anything else. But yeah, we'll see how it unfolds. Have you so talk me through your trades, guys. What have you done? What was the trades? Your stops, targets, etc. Yeah, I mean, like I say, I mean, I do like Germany 30 on DAX. I do very much like it. I like to trade it. So, but yeah, you could absolutely positively draw. In fact, let's do it. Let's put that in there, and then let's put that one in there. So this is what we've got. So we've got it just like gold, stuck in this range. I mean, there is a lot of uncertainty out there, guys. We've got Brexit stuff going on. You've got obviously new campaigns coming. People are going to be worried. I think if Corbyn gets any kind of look in, the pound's in trouble, to put it that way. But that's going to be good for gold. But and then potentially bad for indices. So there's a lot of indecision out there. So if you're going to trade stuff in the middle, look for these momentum kind of moves and just try and take 10, 20 pips. I mean, you don't have to. If that's not your style of trading, do not try and force something to happen. But I think if you look at this and it's up here, you think, what, that's come down every other time, I'm taking it short, then that is a good potential trade. You have to trade, whether it's right or wrong. It's the only way you're going to learn is by entering the trade, and then you'll sort of pick up on similarities between trades and why maybe you got stopped or whatever. Like, for example, I used to know a guy that would trade just like this, support and resistance only, and he'd go short here, and he'd have his stop literally like just above it, like just above it. I mean, that's what got 50. That would be like 4 or 5 pips. Let it breathe. You could do 20 pips up to 70. That means it's completely clear of all this other stuff. That means at least if you're not watching it, worst case you're going to lose 20 pips. But if you see it break, retest and start moving up, just close it out. Cut it before it takes you out for the full 20 pips. And then the same for the downside. Give it room to breathe. Be generous with it. And let it play out sometimes. But as I say, if you are watching it and it does, break these highs, come through, test it, then just come back out. Take your break even. That's capital preservation is key. Don't much as it's important to play stuff out. If you're watching it and you're sort of hoping and you're looking at it and thinking this is going to stop me out, then it probably is. And just take the smaller loss, which is still a win. In if you want to look at it that way, taking the smaller loss and saving yourself from further loss is still a win because you're going to have to make that back anyway. So think of it that way. But yeah, I like the DAX, always have done. So yeah, I think like we had earlier on, this nice low test, turn around, pull back up. It's very likely going to creep back up to these highs. There is obviously a tiny bit of sort of minor resistance where we are, but I wouldn't recommend trading it from there. Wait for the extremes. But yeah, I like the DAX. We're getting a kind of wedge forming on the FTSE. So again, you want to wait for a break one way or another to the upside or to the downside, because it's not moving sideways. You could say, oh, I'm gonna trade it on the retest of the channel, but we don't really know. I just don't see that as being such a good plan. And always look at the higher time frames. If we look at, let's just say Germany 30, take this as an example because we're talking about this. You look on let's start with the weekly. See if we can get this mouse. My mouse keeps giving me a chip. No, it's very slow. It's just bullish. So what tends to happen? We expect to see a pullback. It can't go up in straight lines. It hasn't had a bad week. 1, 2, 3, 4. This is the 5th week. So if you look at it in that respect, if you want to take this into consideration, it's nearing the top. Let's have a look on the daily. Today has been a very, very small day. Not a lot of volume, so that tells me that gives you an indication it could be turning around. Especially, you have big momentous days and all of a sudden a real big slowdown. That's pretty much saying, you know what, we're getting ready to turn around. We're not got the buying pressure that we wanted before the sort of bulls come in and take over. But again, it's quite overextended. You could look pretty to pull back to this kind of level. We've had nice retest 12,805. So that could be a nice place to look to. Look at the 4 hours. We're just banging our head on the top. This is what's happened all day. We have literally been in this little box range all day long. So, I would favour a short here than I would a long, just because of those higher time frames. As much as you should be trading with the trend, and the trend is to the upside, I think the best risk reward is a short. But if it does take you out, or you come out of it and it pulls back and starts looking to go back up, get in on the long. You have to be sort of versatile when you're trading and be able to adjust to what you see and trade both directions. We've got the 1 hour, 20s above the 50, the 4 hours going to be. Everything is indicating bullish. But yeah, all we've done is sit in this range since just yesterday. So we've got a whole day, a whole 24 hours basically of up and down. So it's wicky from the bottom, more so. Could be looking for a push to the upside, but I don't understand what hasn't broken above yet if that's the case. As I say, I would favour a short. When it started getting this momentum on it, got smashed back down. So I'd favour a short. Does that agree with what you're seeing, Kevin? Okay, good stuff, good. So yeah, I mean, let's look at it this way. So when you're looking earlier on, we had no clue. Let's just get rid of that. Yes, it's in a downtrend, and if we looked at yesterday's day, it was bearish, which is why my first trade, I went for the short, because as we've talked about, is trade the sort of trend and look to see what comes from the day before, and when that momentum kicks in, if it agrees, trade that on the sort of 5-minute pullback. So that is why this morning the first thing I wanted to do was take it short. So we had, this would have been a nice entry, but it just hovered around, doing other things, and so this is where it was here, I think, on the 50 where I actually went short, and it fell there. We had this massive candle. I mean, that to me was looking like it was going to go long, and so. And I mentioned to you guys, we get to sort of 1502 again, these sort of lows, to look for a long. Which, had I seen it, I would have gone long, and I would have also been stopped out. I forgot we had a house viewing and stuff, and so we ended up doing other things. But in any case, I mean that would have looked to me as a good area. It got rejected from over here. It was rejected after this big candle, and so it definitely would have been a good opportunity for a long. I mean, and even here, I mean, at 1500 could have been good. But I think when I next looked at it, we was down here somewhere. We'd broken through. And I think this was one of the next traders. Let's just have a little look. No. After the 1504, it was 92. So yeah, so the next trade was down here up to the 20, not that one. Which again, it rejected. Massive breakdown. I think this one, I did message you guys, so I'm coming out, because it was this little candle. I thought that could be turning around, and thought I'll exit the trade, and then literally as I was messaging this it literally gapped down to down here. So that was it. Much as like I say, I'm going long, but I'm just monitoring the market. I'm seeing where it could potentially turn around, and seeing candles like that at the 20 EMA, it, to me, is a sign that it's not going to break above, and so you have to trade what you see. The next one was at 93, so that was I must have done a second trade on this part. So the first one would have been this part, and the second one on this sort of pullback back up to it, and then we had 80. Oh no, that was the exit. Sorry. 81.90 exit, which was down here. So the first trade, come out on the top of that first candle, so I thought I might just turn around, then bought back in on this sort of pullback here and back up to the 20, which come out 83.50, which is so about one. So just small trades, but they all add up. It's important not to try and push it. It has been sort of difficult to read, but overall, previous day was bearish, and should have had the intention of of it being bearish. You know, it would have been far more profitable, as I say, to just left my short running from there. But I did keep thinking we was going to get a pullback. And this is what I've been playing, is the idea if we do get that pullback, it's going to do a nice move. But it just never happened. But hindsight's a wonderful thing. Coulda, shoulda, woulda. You know, this now is slowing down. There's no more real selling pressure. So we might start to get some move to the upside and look for the buys. Because yeah, it's just not growing. I think there's just no volume in the market right now. But yeah, there is, you know, especially from here, it's a support area. It's risk reward is you won't want to be trying to short it now, because you might just come here and that's it. You know, we might get a spike up. So you know, you've got to, if you've got a sort of bias, you've got to stick to it. But yeah, as I say, my bias was short this morning, and I purely changed because of the drop. Much as I say, in the back of my mind, I knew that it was a bearish, and I said, I think it was at like 90 something. Was it after this pullback here? It's around 90. So yeah, this sort of touch back. I was going to take it short on the 20, but it didn't hit it. So and I expected 80 to come in. I mean, I could have shorted it from there and left it to there, and would have had another 100. Would have been a 100 pip move, but as I say, shoulda, coulda, woulda. You know, it is what it is with trading. Hopefully, is there anything you guys learned from those movements today? I'm going to have a look at euro dollar while you're responding there, guys. No. Oh, I just don't like trading euro dollar. Yeah, I mean, look, there's plenty of touches there. You know, definitely a good trade. No doubt about it. You know, technically speaking, on the daily 50, you're at support. It has been, you know, bullish, although we've sort of broken a trend line. Could be the sign of it turning around. Yeah, I mean, with the 4 hours broken below, but looking to turn around kind of thing. You know, we're getting consolidation there, so could be a good 30 to 40 pip move to having that. So nothing wrong with that. And again, it's good that you're trading what you see and what you like. So yeah, I mean, you know, to talk about the lessons that I asked, answer the questions there. Yeah, I mean, and sometimes there's nothing wrong with being stopped out 1, 2, or 3 times, or, you know, whatever that number is, as long as there's something. No, I mean, revenge trading, to put it drastically, is very harmful. You know, and sometimes if you're going to do it, you sort of have to have the same bias, because someone I used to sort of discuss trading with, let's just say he was short. If he got stopped out, he suddenly turned bullish. But then, if you think of it on a chart sense, let's just put it on 5 minutes, so it's a bit easy to explain. Let's just say here. Let's just say he was going short, so he's gone short here, and he's been stopped out, and then he's come back down, and then he's thought, oh, do you know what? I'm actually going bullish now. So then he goes bullish, and then he gets stopped out. You know, you have to stick to a bias one way or another. So at least if you're doing that, then maybe it's just stopped too tight, or if you are able to view the markets, maybe just let it run and come out a bit later. You know, see how it plays out. For example, let's just say you went bullish here. Let's just say you bought here, for example, being one of the first trades, and it came up to here, and then, you know, you saw it touch this and sort of start reversing. then it starts to tell you that maybe it's going to turn around. And then if you see this bullish candle, just cut it there. I mean, that is an engulfing candle. That's a sign it's rejected that 20. And if you got in sort of around here, you'd still be in a profit. So take your profit. Let do the drop. And then if you've gone bullish somewhere else, again, I mean, if you entered along at any of these points, yeah, I mean, it's just going to end up whacking you out. Because you've got nothing to sort of go from. But that's what's nice to wait for it, consolidation. And here again, if you'd gone bullish and then started seeing this reversal, and could have come out and still had a little bit of profit, or at worst case break even if it starts going in the right direction. But yeah, it's always a learning curve, without any shadow of a doubt, and only experience can tell you when things look to be changing. I mean, like I say, this is why I'm favouring a little bit of a breakout shortly, because it's been smacking and running away all day long, and this time it's not. So we'll see. I've got a feeling it's going to run more sideways. The 50 is going to get closer, and then all of a sudden it will push up. So yeah, the entry might end up being a bit higher, but yeah, if it is, it is. It's not the end of the world. At least there's been a confirmation of the trend change. And yeah, so the next one, patience and multi-time frame analysis, definitely. Yeah, I mean, that's what I always sort of try to stress. If you're trading just off the bottom of your mains, I mean, I've got various different ways that I like to enter, what I use for targets, etc. And that for me to just compute that and do that is very easy, because I've done it for so long and it's in there, and I just see it and I do it. Whereas when you haven't done that for so long, it can be difficult to compute. And that's why it's always good to just double check. Don't ever get FOMO. Think you're going to miss out. Just double check, triple check, make sure everything lines up with what you're expected. And use the other time frames. If it's looking bearish on all time frames, it's going to be bearish on the lower time frames. Use that for the pullbacks. We talked about that 5 minute 20. It does, it does work. And if there is a definitive trend, it will just keep rejecting it, just like it has done today. So always bear that in mind. And yeah, always keep. If you're getting candles holding above the EMAs, that is your first indication of where it's going to go. I mean, it's starting to get a little bit on here, but we'll see. We'll see in the next few candles. Yeah, and then once you've got the confirmations, that is the time to enter. I guess so, but differently. I mean, just to sort of clarify, if you look on the RSI on this 5 minute, it's in the middle. It doesn't look overbought or oversold at all. So you wouldn't take a trade based on it from there. However, if you look on the 1 hour, it's oversold. So that means yes, you would be looking for longs. And it's the same on the 4 hour. It's oversold there, and then the daily. Daily's in the middle, so it wouldn't really give you anything from there. So it really depends what time frame you're using, or if you're going to use it to your advantage on a lower time frame, like we have for the 5 minute. We know that the 5 minutes in the middle of nowhere, but the 1 hour and the 4 hours showing it's at lows. And so if we was to bought in here and held it, like I could have done, I could have just held it, but I just want to keep taking profit in case it turned around. Because remember, we wouldn't have known what's happened here. Then that shows that actually it's oversold there as well. So now we've got all the time frames lining up. Let's look for the buy. So I think it can be quite a good indicator if everything lines up, perhaps. So yeah, I guess it works on all time frames in its own time frame, but for it to work for every entry, then that's what you'd want to look across all the time frames for. confirmations. Oh, this sort of 4 hour that's building up. If it ends up like this and closes like a kind of star, then definitely a good signal of a trend change. As I expect to probably tap back down and then turn around. It may not, but let's see. I mean, the 1 hour has a broken blow there, but we'll see. I think this 1 hour we'll get another couple of sideways candles, and then potentially a move to the upside. Just hopefully, something is learned every day. And don't worry about wins or losses. They will both happen. And as long as you've got money left to keep trading and keep learning, then you're going to get on the other side of it and over the long term. Excuse me. Make them all back. So don't judge yourself on wins and losses. Judge yourself on learning every day. That's the most valuable thing you got. So anything else psychology or analysis wise? Or you guys look at anything else you want us to break down, or should we have a quick run through and see what else we can spot out there? Oh, while you're answering, I will look at CAD Gen. I mean, that trade was a monster. I didn't capitalise on all the move, but this back up at where I entered pretty much now. So yeah, interestingly, okay. Well, I'll start on the daily because I'll break down this trade that happened last week. So we had this turnaround candle, completely bearish engulfing. So this day is when we entered, and I looked for the 1 hour 50 break retest, which was up here and happened just perfectly. This was that day to the 30th. We had to pull down. We had the consolidation pull back up to the 50, and bang, it just dropped. It just dropped. I mean, I'll come out the 4 hour 50, which was around here somewhere. Let's have a look. It's about 40, 50 pips, maybe. Yeah. So up here, lines are pretty much where we are now. And it just went so much further. I mean, could have been left in. I was on the trains and stuff was going on, and I did think if I breaks 4 hour 50, I'll get back in on the retest and take down to the daily 20, which lined up with some potential support. And it just smashed through it. I mean, it just smashed through. Didn't even pull back all the way and just carried on going. So missed it. Didn't just jump in. There's no need to try and do that. So it is what it is. And then it went down to the sort of daily 20 areas, and more, and turned around. This is where now we're up at this sort of 83 mark. I say not far off the original entry. But nonetheless, it was a good trade. We had that turnaround. It was very overextended, and worked out as we would expect it to. Next prediction, not sure. This could just carry on. Want to wait for a reversal to give us an indication if we're going to be trading off those strategies. I only like trading the 5 minute on indices and gold. Rest of them I still stick to 1 hour and 4 hour sort of breaking retests. But all the yen crosses have been strong because the yen's been weak. So pound yen's been pretty strong today, but just a bit sideways. As I mentioned before, 39.5. I like longs from there. Otherwise, I'm not into risking it. It's sideways. It is a bit choppy out there. Indices, as we've sort of discussed, are just highs, extended, and favour a little bit of a short there. Aussie CAD, yeah. So potentially it could be sort of pulling back to this daily 50 and 20, but and up to the 8200. But if we get a rejection and a sort of engulfing daily candle, then we'll look for that short to take on the 1 hour 50 breaker retest. Get a breaker retest, take it down to the 4 hour 50. It's always at least sort of 40 pips in there, and then it's the same again from the 4 hour to the daily 20. Okay, let's have a look at Aussie dollar, but yeah, it's one to bear in mind. Aussie yen. If we see that, as I say, there's nothing visible there yet. We are hoping. Yes, Aussie dollar's been smashed down from the kind of resistance area. Not sure there's anything really historically to go on there, but yeah, I mean, yeah, it sort of lines up with what was previous support. Can now be turned resistance, and could be looking to just make a move further down. It's just a case. Let's have a look on the 1 hour, see in terms of 1 hour 50. So yeah, we sort of broken it. It looked to be coming up and retesting it. You know, it could be a trade. I'll see if it lines up the fibs. Oh yes, 81. Yeah, see, sort of engulfing that previous candle though is the only worry. Let's see. If we get a tap here, I'm going to go long. And you know, I'm just going to keep this tight. So fingers out already. See if we get it. I mean, looking at this just tells me this is probably this could just break through, but hopefully not. I think, you know, I was expecting within this 4 hour candle for it to test it again. So if we get a test and a rejection, if the 5 minute holds above it, then it should be good. Let's see. In fact, let's just watch this live for the next few minutes, guys. Just so we can capitalise and get the rejection, and it's also good to just see it, and I can help you with my thoughts as it's happening, to help you see and understand what I see. But there you go. I'm just going to load up mine. Ready. Come on. It's in there. There's only 42 seconds left. Come on, tap. Doesn't it? Might be the next candle that taps it, or doesn't tap it and goes through. See how it closes. Okay. Cool. Holding above, so let's go in as along. See if it moves to the upside or we break. Either way, short, tight stop, and well, I'm just watching it. I haven't got to stop in. If I get sort of minus 10 pips, I'll I'll just close it manually. Yes, hesitating. No, that's it. I'm closed. It didn't go our way, so see if it rejects this 80 level or not, but I've got a feeling it's not going to. Yeah. No, she's just going to carry on. So that, that was the try. Oh, there we go. Back above the 80 level. So wherever it's going to stop, we don't know. Oh, in any case, gave a little bit back, but there we go. This is why it's good to watch these things and see. Let's have a look on that for a while. Yeah, 4076. See if it does. I mean, like I sort of said earlier, I mean this could just keep going. So I'm going to wait for a 1 hour reversal before I sort of try and re-enter. But this is how simple it can be, you know, guys. If that was going to go in our favour, when it tapped and turned around, you know, much as closed out straight away to preserve capital, you could just you know, it could have just turned around and started beaming up on the 5 minute, as you know things do sometimes. And yeah, it's, you know, that is trading. But this is why it's good to be watching it live. Yeah, see, it might still close. This one might close bullish and I'll turn around, but didn't expect to see it tap and turn around like that, to be honest. Wow. Market trickery. Hey. Yeah. I think, you know, this again could just be a trap of people. It could just be trapping people to the upside. I mean, you know, people could now be looking to go long and then could just turn around. As we've seen here, I mean, those candles, an example. Even these ones, yes, a little bit of upside and then more downside. But let's see if it closes above or below. Could close above and could be good for a long. Let's see. And this is why it's good to be. So like I did there, I closed it as soon as we sort of see it coming below, because if it really respected that level, it wouldn't have. And you know, as much as it sort of turned around a bit, I'd rather give that, you know, it wasn't even 10 pips, and seeing it sort of breaking through than than potentially risking more and seeing it close down here and just carry on. I don't like giving it back, as you know. So at least then we're out the market. We can see if it does, if it starts to hold and we look like we get a nice break above, then then we can look along. So at least we've, yes, you could have not given away that few pips, but that's because now we've seen what's happening that you're thinking that. So don't ever sort of judge yourself or think badly of trading safe. So this will be a turning point. Yeah, it's hesitating. Interesting to see if we do finally get a break above that 20 and push up, but what's nice is if overnight we do get some bullish momentum and things do start turning back around, there'll be a nice pullback to the EMAs for the morning for us to take potentially long from there. So could be a nice setup for the morning. Anyway, on from there, we was looking at other stuff, so let's have a brief look at other things quickly. So not seeing much else out there. The yen crosses have been weak, so very well recovered. Bearish candle on Euro Aussie. Could be heading back down to this sort of trend line that we've identified previously. And I remember this, so we talked about this one session where this pullback, I mean, just didn't pull back nicely enough for me to sort of be interested. Wouldn't be a good chance to take it long, but yeah, potentially heading back to this long-term trend line. Not seeing many reversal candles. Just pound Aussie. The old pound Aussie does love an even number. Really does. So often. You know, the pounds are looking pretty strong. Dollar yen's looking strong. Dollar caddy is. Dollar's had a good day overall. A dollar chuck that looked at previously. I mean, it's gone a bit sideways. The dollar US dollar seems to be perhaps changing direction. We've had a sort of lower high at support, and now we're up at these 50s. Could be a potential trade up to this level. Good 100 pips. mark that one up actually. I do like that. When you see these happen on the daily, tend to be quite strong. Playing under that price action. The only thing. Yeah, I mean it could just come up to here, retest the 4 hour and break down. So it's good on the daily, but KGM we've looked at. There's not much out there. NZD, USD perhaps. Gold is pushed up a little bit. So coming back up to the 20. Maybe that little low test was just to lease out some stops and push into the upside, but we'll see. I'm not going to try and force another trade. See what it does. Okay. Well, I'm going to keep an eye on it, guys, but I'll let you know if I do jump back into it. But I doubt I'm going to bother this evening. I think that it could just hit this and then carry on going down. I don't want to be tricked by it. I don't want to be staring at it all evening. But yeah, I mean, otherwise keep an eye on the indices pulling back. Keep an eye on the dollar, US dollar. Is there anything else you guys seen or want to go through before I wrap it up? Okie dokie. Pound gem. Let's have a look. I mean, as I said, I just find pounds a bit sideways. I've had a bullish day, but the only place I'd like to buy from is at 139.5. I mean, that's a pretty solid area. I mean, 140 may now become quite a good area. I mean, obviously that is quite far away looking at it in 5 minutes, but it's not when you start looking at the higher time frames. I'll see we push into some new highs. But yeah, I just would like to see a breaker one way or another. I mean, this is these areas where we are now seem to act as a kind of resistance, so we might get a pullback. It's been a strong bullish day, must admit, very strong bullish day, but as you can see, we had rejection. Nothing's held. Price hasn't held above 140.744. So if it does hold above, then perhaps tomorrow could be another bullish day. But nothing's thus far has held above that. So just in a lot of sideways action until a bit of a push this afternoon. But yeah, let's see how that plays out. Yeah, I'll say nothing's held above that price, so that's the price of interest. I mean, we've got some other touches of it over here. Put this out on the weekly, let's have a look. Let's put in a horizontal line there. Let's go down on the low time frame. Oh, I just didn't know it was there. Just got prices there. So yeah, I think we've pulled that out on the weekly and stuff. There's been a lot of touches. Got projections here, got here, some here, here. So we get a hold above, then could mean good news. Yeah, looking at these lower time frames, it'd just be nice to see a daily hold above that level before we get too excited. Let's see. We'll see what happens with it. Yeah, keep an eye, guys. As I say, keep an eye tomorrow if it closed above or not, or later on if you do check the charts at 10 like I do. See where it closes. Another small candle, so could just turn back around from here again, gold. That candle stopped hit perfect above it. That's just typical stop hunting. Yeah. Anyway, guys, if that is all, we will call it a night. Do remember, like I say, put anything in the group you want to discuss and stuff, and hopefully tonight was helpful and sort of with analysis psychology wise as well. And feel free to ask anything and do anything at any point. I'm always here to help. And let's hope tomorrow is another good day. Just keep pushing. So well done, guys, and I will see you again shortly.